We're here with Adam Brown on Gweilo, TP52. Adam, your 30th, I think.
Yes, 30th Hobart this year. Obviously started in the early days, and 30 to tick the list. I'm not sure how many more I'll do. Obviously I'm a little bit slower than the guy who hasn't done one at all.
And I think you had an expression which said you weren't perhaps quite as bright as somebody who's not done one at all.
Well, that's right. The Hobart race definitely has its challenges, but I guess that's the reason why we keep coming back.
Excellent. So we've got an interesting forecast here. Plenty of breeze on to start with, and then a bit of a parking lot.
Yeah, that's right. The forecast hasn't actually changed over the last couple of days. Predominantly northeasterly winds for the start, which will be a bit of a beat out of the harbour, and then about roughly 15 knots down the coast towards the Ulladulla Narooma area. And then there's a high pressure cell front that moves across with a cold front. That'll actually make the winds quite variable, and to a certain extent it'll extend out to sea. So that'll be really the strategic point, the first strategic point of the race for certainly the front runners. That area will be probably light for up to about 6 or 7 hours. So there'll be some people who want to take the inside track, and some people want to go to offshore. There'll be a bit of make or break. Then the breeze actually flicks around to the northeast, carries us across Bass Strait quite quickly and down the Tassie coast. And then obviously there's another light pressure cell off the bottom of Tasmania as well. That'll provide some variable winds into Storm Bay and Derwent, the famous Derwent River, which can shut down at any time of the day.
And got an interesting sort of quite strong countercurrent off Gabo. Given the parking lot and everything else, you're going to want to be on the inside and tracking that down?
Yeah, look, the current will have an impact. The current's running at about 1.5 to 2 knots, so obviously any advantage we can get using that warm water runs generally down the east coast of Australia. Obviously we'll take advantage of that for sure. Good.
So do you think it's a TP52 race?
Oh, look, I think it is certainly on the front runners. I think it's not quite the hundreds. It's going to be in that 52 to 46 area. The telling sign will be on day 4, which is when we're in. That northeasterly does build, so some of the smaller boats will get a bit of a blow home, but then it kind of shuts down after that. So that if they can get in time, that's where they'll make the gain. The 52 class is very competitive. We've got 12 52s in Division 1 this year, and we'll be pushing everybody to the full limit. Certainly when there's 12 of the one class in, you've got a very good chance of a 52 doing well overall.
And we talk about division wins, overall wins, but there's also Blue Water point score in there, isn't there?
Yeah, at the moment the Blue Water point score is made up of the Sydney to Gold Coast race, the Bird Island, Flinders Island and Cabbage Tree Island race, along with the Newcastle Bass Island race. We're currently running second to a boat called Ichiban. We were leading up until Cabbage Tree Island race. So the top 3 or 4 boats in the Blue Water point score are obviously the top sort of boats in the Hobart race. But obviously the Hobart is the final race for the Blue Water point score, and whilst the Hobart is incredibly important, the Blue Water point score is the main game out of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia.
And if I were to ask you who your pick is for overall, if it wasn't yourselves?
Well, it has to be ourselves, but I think in the 52 class, I think Envy Scooters and Ichiban are going to be very strong. They rate. In other words, their measurements are the same as what we have, so technically we all should be on the same program. I think the French crew, Coram, the 46, which is the old Patrice, used to be owned by Tony Kirby. Yep, that'll be a strong player. And then outside of that, I think you really do boil down to maybe a Sydney 38 or something along those lines.
Oh, great. And then finally, we've got enough TPs around in this part of the world to start a bit of a circuit. Just briefly tell us about that.
Yeah, look, the TP52 class is coming together quite nicely. We've got boats that really date back to 2001. So this year we've got a bit of a circuit. So Newcastle, Port Stephens and Sydney. Hamilton Island and Airlie Beach have just announced their own division for the TP52s. The 52 circuit overseas, generally speaking, has about 8 boats at tops. In Australia we've got 19 now, so we're looking at getting 12 to 15 boats to these events, and racing will be number one because it's it's fast, exciting racing, incredibly tactical, lots of sail changes, lots of surfing and planing, so it'll be great spectator sport.
Fantastic, and all the best for the race.
Thanks very much for your time, and good luck to all the competitors. Safe sailing.